Hello and welcome, it's Chris from Christopher Holt Training, and welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about how to overcome lower back pain, the importance of exercise. Now, there is a bit of a myth that rest is good, but it's only good unto a point. And in these next 4 tutorials, we're going to be looking and going through why exercise is essential for lower back pain rehabilitation. But before we get into that, I just quickly want to mention my social media. So if you're not already on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or a subscriber on YouTube, then please do come along, like, follow, and subscribe. It would be great to have you there. I'm sharing regular tutorials talking all things health, fitness, exercise, lower back pain, core strength, so on and so forth. So it'd be great to have you there. Please do come along. Alternatively, if you'd like to start your journey, it's on the road to overcoming lower back pain, you can reserve your spot at my The Fundamentals of Spine Health webinar, which is if you follow this link here. Now, it's completely free. I share my entire formula for overcoming lower back pain that I use with people on a regular basis at my gym, face-to-face with people. And if you want to put it into practice, you can then either do that by yourself, just take the information from the website, from the webinar, or you can become an online client and you can work with me on a sort of a one-to-one basis online to be able to overcome your low back pain. So as I mentioned, you can reserve that spot on the webinar by going to this link, and there will be a link in the description as well. So just scroll down, click the link, go through and reserve your spot. It'd be great to have you on there. There's lots of information being shared. It's about 80 minutes long. So yes, it would be great to have you on there and you can learn my entire formula. So let's come back to what we're going to be talking about in this webinar. Now, why are we talking about exercise and overcoming lower back pain when a lot of the prescription is to rest? Well, exercise allows you to optimally load your body after injury, and what that does, it promotes. So if we just quickly look at this quote here from Optimal Loading: Key Variables and Mechanisms, it promotes the creation of a stronger biological scaffold that is better able to withstand a range of loading types. Now, that's a bit wordy, and what I'm going to do is trying to explain that in as lay terms as possible. So I'm not talking about exercise in its traditional sense, but what I call exercise rehabilitation. So it works the same as traditional exercise, but at a lower level and requires specific exercises done in a specific way. Now, I must say, sort of as a caveat, I guess, that exercise is one part of a bigger process, which is what I share on the webinar. So if you want to find the bigger process, then please go to the webinar, but this is just one part of it, but it's an essential part of it, hence why I'm talking about it, and it's a part that a lot of people leave out as well. So what is the rehab process? Well, first of all, you do have to rest. When you're in pain, rest and let the pain sort of recede and reside, and let it reduce, essentially. Then what we need to do is get back to moving, because that's what we do every day. We can't just lie in bed all day or lie on the sofa or sit on the sofa or whatever it might be. We have to go back to everyday life. But what we want to be able to do is withstand the rigors of that everyday life, which is then when we start to build the stronger biological scaffold that can better withstand those loading types, everyday life. So this is where exercise can be useful. There are steps to take before, and again, as I mentioned, this is what you'll learn on the webinar. But for now, we're just going to be looking at the exercise part of it. So I want to bring you to this image down here. So image 1, this is a traditional workout or exercise / recovery cycle. But what we can do is we can use the same principles for rehabilitation. So once the pain is reduced, we can exercise. So this would be our training stimulus, which is when we start to exercise. Our body will fatigue, but because we'll exercise at a lower intensity, that fatigue will be less. So although we're still going to follow this curve, it just won't be as dramatic. So we're not exhausting and fatiguing our body like we would do with normal traditional exercise. So what then happens, so as I mentioned, our body will fatigue. But then what happens is the body starts to recover. And when it starts to recover, it doesn't recover back to the same level that it would be here. It comes back a little bit stronger. So this is what they call a supercompensation. So if we can find this point here, this would be the point at which we would exercise again. And then this cycle or this process will happen at a slightly higher level again. So we would fatigue, and then it would come back stronger, and it would continue on that sort of upward trajectory, if you want to call it that. Now, this is where we come on to this second image, where we have that upward trajectory, and then we have a downward trajectory as well. So if you can optimally load your body, the cycle goes in an upward direction, and that you can see here. So you've got the training stimulus, the fatigue, the recovery, the supercompensation. Then, as you see, it fatigues again, but this is at a slightly higher level, slightly higher level, slightly higher level, slightly higher level. So we're always trying to find that point so we can then come slightly higher level, find that point, exercise again. So we exercise at these points here. Now this does take time. You will have to learn about your body and how it responds. But then if you don't, this is what happens, is if you don't give yourself enough recovery and you fatigue your body too much, you don't give yourself enough recovery, it doesn't come back. So you can see my old level was there. Now I'm not coming back, I'm not giving enough recovery and coming back late enough. So I then go on this downward trajectory and I start going down in that direction rather than up in that direction. So what we have to understand is that to overcome lower back pain, it's essential to start exercising, because that's the process of the body building a stronger biological scaffolding, as was mentioned before. So it requires the right balance of exercise and recovery done at the right intensity. If you get the balance wrong, your back health will go in a downward direction. If you get the balance right, your back health will go in an upward direction. So as a summary, that's what I've been talking about. It's about getting exercise and recovery and the right intensity at the right time. If you can get all of those variables to start working for you, then your back is going to start to improve. You're going to start to build that stronger biological scaffold that will better withstand the rigors of everyday life. So many thanks for watching. My name is Chris. I hope this has been helpful. I will speak to you in next week's tutorial.